one question I never had to ask was if this was intentional. That's something that I never asked once. Because I know it wasn't. As a matter of fact, it never even crossed my mind to even attempt to ask myself that, because I know it wasn't.
It never even crossed his mind. I mean, no matter how many people he hit with his car, no matter how many crowds of people he aimed for with his car, even having a cop shoot at him, it just never crossed his mind that he was intentionally trying to kill people. How's it going, everyone? You're watching Sight Sounds Flavors on YouTube, sightsoundsflavors.com. If at any point in time you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please ring the bell for notifications so you won't miss a single video. There's a button down below, and please leave a comment. I thought this clip here, sent to me with a timestamp from a viewer, was very noteworthy because it speaks directly to intent. I had not seen it before. There's so many clips that I have not seen before. And it's a really good clip. I mean, it's completely unbelievable. It's a complete lie, but it's a very good clip. Because Darrell Brooks Jr. very, very seldom, if ever, talks about his involvement in the crime. I mean, even during the trial, he tried to raise the idea that maybe there were other people involved, that maybe it was not him, that witnesses didn't get a clear image of the driver. He tried to raise doubts in the make and model. He tried to raise doubts in the events of the day prior. So the fact that he actually talks about intent, his intent during the crime, is noteworthy. What he says is complete hogwash, but it's still noteworthy. And I believe that he was in the heat of passion when he left Erica Patterson with Nicholas Kirby. However, he knew what he was doing. And as Sue Opera has said before, he could have been charged with 5,000 counts of attempted murder. If it had been one person, one instance, but this was knowing, willing, deliberate, person after person for blocks on end. Calling Dawn, call me an Uber. Dawn calling in the car stolen. Him spending at least an hour or two out of the 4-hour initial interrogation trying to say that he did not have a car, that he wasn't driving the red SUV. I mean, all of that. I mean, there's no question this was intentional. And what about when he ran Erica over years ago? Was that also not intentional? Does he even know what intent means? I think he does. I think he's a liar, a manipulator. I think he's incapable of accepting any responsibility, and we see it here. We saw it in his closing arguments. We saw it in his sentencing statement, which, by the way, was 2 hours long. I wasn't aware of that. You know, all this time, I'm giving Judge Darrell grief over giving him 50 minutes for a closing argument. She gave him 2 hours for the sentencing. He gave a 2-hour speech for the sentencing. And he knew the highly televised nature of this trial. He knew that everybody was going to see and hear what he had to say. How do you see what someone has to say? Well, you see the body language, the mannerisms. We saw it the whole trial. His disrespect for the witnesses, the survivors, the victims, prosecution team, the judge, the eye rolling, the employment of the face mask, which I don't really think was COVID related because everybody was always at least 6 feet away from him. It was a crutch. It gave him the opportunity to mumble things under his breath, and not just under his breath, but under a face mask. We saw how he used the boxes to hide behind as well in the other courtroom. And how does that all tie in? It ties in because he knows what intent is. He knows what the law is. He's been through the system enough times. He knows how to work the cops. He knew how to work the cops to get McDonald's and sodas and whatever else he got during the interrogations. He knew how to prolong them. He knew he wasn't there for a simple assault or domestic violence. You're not going to have 2 detectives grilling you for 4 hours for that. He knew the whole time. It's just, to me, pretty insane that he would try to argue a lack of intent, that it didn't even cross his mind, according to him. And I honestly believe it didn't cross his mind in the sense of, you know, him thinking that anyone was going to, like, shoot holes through that. Like, in his mind. That's why I think a lot of people kind of give me grief over it, but I do think that there were moments during the trial where I don't know if it was plausible deniability, or, you know, if he was delusional, or I mean, I really, if you look at parts of the trial, it really seems like he thinks he's going to get off. I mean, I know that sounds like absolutely insane, but maybe he has been able to convince himself that the thought of intent never crossed his mind, that he wasn't intentionally acting at that point in time, that he was under some sort of supernatural force or psychological breakdown or something, you know, temporary insanity, something. Because as insane as it sounds that he never intentionally did this, he may have made himself believe that he never intentionally. So, you know what I mean? I think that he is such a manipulator that he's been able to pull one over himself. I don't know if that is denial. I don't know if he's blocked it out. I don't know if he's hypnotized himself. I don't know. I know that he's a manipulator. I know that he's someone that is definitely a textbook narcissist. I know that he's somebody that can't tell the truth to save his life. But I also think that there's something where he may have made himself believe something. Again, we've got to understand too that most of the time that he was in the pods and lockups, I would imagine he was probably in solitary confinement. I don't know if he had a television or a radio, and except for the research he did at the law library and talking to his mom, he's basically in a room talking to himself. So is it possible that he made himself believe something enough as to where he could argue it in court? Probably. I don't know. To me, there isn't a shred of evidence, anything that would suggest this wasn't intentional. He's totally sane, may have bipolar, may have anxiety, may have stress, but whether or not he intended to do what he did at Waukesha Christmas Parade, no doubt in my mind at all. But could he have made himself believe on some level that he did not? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But to me, it's preposterous that he would try to argue that in court. The judge wasn't going to hear it. Prosecution team wasn't going to hear it. None of the victim survivors and their families wanted to hear it or was going to hear it. I think they were the last gasps of a doomed man, basically. But a very, very good clip. Complete hogwash. 110% complete hogwash. But still a very good clip. Thank you for saying that. And if you want to send me a comment like that, I don't know that you can actually, I've received a couple attachments. You guys should know I don't open attachments. It's nothing against you, but you got to be on your P's and Q's. And, you know, viruses come in attachments a lot of times. So I really like what this viewer did. They did not want to be named. Otherwise, I would plug their channel, but I appreciate that. They sent me a timestamp. They sent me the URL, and then they sent me a timestamp. And that was really helpful because the video that I pulled this from was 8 hours long. I don't have 8 hours to watch a video, but thank you for the timestamp. Thank you for the video URL. I really appreciate it. It's viewers like you that make this so much fun, because again, I would never, that's why I never saw this clip, because I don't have 8 hours. I don't even have 8 minutes sometimes, but I do to make a video. So I do appreciate it. I hope that you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I want to see more views on these videos, especially Darrell Brooks ones, because it's starting to kind of taper off a little bit. And that's okay, but I'm not going to make as many videos on this particular topic if I don't see the interest. And hopefully I'll be doing an Instagram live and also I'm not on Instagram, a YouTube live here in the coming days. Alex Murdaugh sentenced to 27 years. I also did a video on Mark Cuban. He sold his interest in the Mavs. He bought it for $258 million, sold it for $3.5 billion. Tell me that's not a success story. And also talking about music, travel. I may be going somewhere in Kentucky or Ohio or Indiana this weekend. And of course, I'll take my Sony camcorder and document all of it. But with regards to the Darrell Brooks trial, I think that there's a lot left to talk about, because it's clips like this one I had never seen before. And I've been covering this trial actively and retroactively for over 2 years. So they just celebrated 2 years a few days ago. So, you know, this is definitely something that a lot of people want to continue talking about. So I hope to see the comments, and I really, really appreciate those of you that email me with ideas, because this clip I had never seen before.